Hello folks, and welcome to this special edition of Tech News, this time on a Samsung Unpacked event day, which just ended, so let's go ahead and jump into what you are here for. First things first, all of the pre-order links that you all have been waiting for are now live so that you can take advantage of the maximum amount of discounts available when you pre-order your devices. I will have all of them in the description for you, so to all of you who were waiting, go ahead and jump right on those links right now and place your order. Now, back to the announcement, of course, or what was announced during this event. We have the very hyped up Samsung Galaxy S24 series. And of course, as we all anticipated, all three models are boasting both software and hardware updates that I am pretty excited about. And I want to go ahead and start off with the big star of the event, the flagship of all flagships, the beast of all beasts. And of course, I'm talking about the all new Samsung Galaxy S24 ULTRA. Not this one, this is the S23, which won last year best phone of the year, but this is the S24 ULTRA, and so many of you held off on this phone right here, the Galaxy S23 ULTRA, just so that you could go ahead and buy the S24 ULTRA when it drops. Well, it is here, and go ahead and buy it right now. Anyway, the design has been updated not only in looks, but also in the material used, and I've shared this before. We are looking at titanium now in terms of what was used to make this phone here. It's a more boxier device with a flat display. As you can see here, the display, by the way, is a 6.8 inches Quad HD Plus display with super smooth, and I really mean super smooth, dynamic LTPO 120 Hz refresh rate, meaning, of course, it does bounce anywhere from 1, so as low as 1, all the way to 120 Hz, and you have that support for Vision Booster, that support for HDR10 Plus, and a whopping 2600 nits of brightness, which essentially makes this new phone, this S24 ULTRA, along with the other ones, the highest in terms of nits, of course, so the highest among mainstream flagships devices out there. Now, they did announce 3 configurations here. We do have the 256 gigs of internal storage, 512 gigs, and 1 terabyte of internal storage, and you get 12 gigs of RAM across all 3 of those configs there, again, just like it leaked before. On the camera side here, you will get all new cameras. You know, the main camera module here includes a 12 megapixel ultra wide, a 10 megapixel telephoto, a 50 megapixel telephoto again. Of course, that crazy 200 megapixel wide angle camera is available on the Ultra model here. On the front, you have a 12 megapixel selfie camera like we've seen before. Now, one of the biggest upgrades, and you would agree with me here, is of course the platform. Samsung, of course, has been collaborating with Qualcomm for a while now, so you do have that Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 that we'd all anticipated. So that is Qualcomm's flagship, right? The newest flagship being offered by Qualcomm is that Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 that is now being found on the S24 series, right? The S24 Ultra, the S24 regular one, and the S24 Plus. And we all are looking forward to what this has to offer on this phone here. I'm looking to see how it's going to, how well it will power this phone, how it's going to handle Galaxy AI, manage the battery, and so much more. And in terms of battery, by the way, they're stuck to that 5,000 milliamp power. And again, going back to that Galaxy AI I just mentioned, as you may know, Samsung had been working on its own AI, which is, the Galaxy AI. Many of the manufacturers, that make mobile devices, so phones in general, and also maybe computers and tablets and things like that, have been working on their own proprietary AI, and Samsung is no different. So you have that's going to be implemented on the S24 series there, and of course that will eventually be available on the S23 Ultra also, but I digress. All I can say is that I'm very excited to see Galaxy AI be part of the talk, right? I can't wait to test it out and really share my, my take on this thing here. And besides what we saw, during the event day, I can't really tell you how well it's going to perform because I haven't used that before. And I can talk about the display on the phone or the performance. I can anticipate how well this phone is going to do, simply because I've been a Samsung user for a long time. So I know what they do when it comes down to display. I know what they do when it comes down to power and all that good stuff. So I have a pretty good idea of what's coming. But because Galaxy AI is pretty new, I can only tell you that I'm looking forward to testing it out and sharing what my take is like on here. Now, I didn't mean to really linger this long on the S24 Ultra here, but simply because it is, of course, the flagship, the big star of the event here. Let's go ahead and talk about the other 2 models, the S24 and the S24 Plus. And these also are seeing design changes, right? Both hardware and software. First of all, the display size have increased. The S24 is now boasting a 6.2 inches Full HD Plus display as opposed to the previous 6.1. The S24 Plus, we're looking at 6.7 inches Quad HD Plus as opposed to the 6.6 that we had on the previous one. They also do support that Vision Booster, LTPO Smooth, at up to 120 hertz, all that good stuff that I talked about when I was talking about the S24 Ultra. In terms of the camera, we're looking at 12 megapixel ultra wide, 10 megapixel telephoto, 50 megapixel wide, and of course a 12 megapixel front camera, just like what we saw with the S24 Ultra. When it comes down to the storage or the config, you only get 2 configs with the S24 and the S24 Plus. You get the base 128 gigs, which is kind of disappointing. Anyway, base 128 gigs, and then the 256 gigs if you want to go ahead and upgrade. And both are seeing 8 gigs of RAM across both of those 2 configurations. On top of that, the S24 Plus will be boasting a 4900 milliamp power, while the regular S24 will be boasting a 4000 milliamp power when it comes down to the battery. Again, I'm looking to see how this is going to perform when I get these 2 in hands. Now, the other device announced here will be the Samsung Galaxy Ring. But anyways, the main goal of this video is just to encourage you to go ahead and place your order if you had been looking forward to picking up either the S24 or the S24 Plus or the S24 Ultra, which I know many of you were waiting to see, right? So you need to place that order early enough. I'm certainly hoping that you were able to reserve with the links that I shared with you so that you could take advantage of that additional $50, and then I believe you can get up to $150. You see that with the special links that I have in the description. So make sure to check out those links so that you can go ahead and place your order. Remember, when you place your order, you can always return after 14 days if you're not happy with it. Let's say you get the S24 Ultra and you're like, you know what, maybe I want to go with the S23 Ultra. You can always return that and go for the S23 Ultra. So that's just something to keep in mind here. Anyways, this is going to be it for this edition of Tech News. I will have more on the next edition. Of course, I will stay updated so that you are updated up until the next edition of Tech News here. Stay safe out there.